We're good. We're good. I accidentally set this for yesterday. My
Oh,
mistake.
uh-oh. Oh,
Yeah,
good.
but I noticed an hour ago. I'm like, what? This was yesterday? So yeah, and I had Facebook, and Facebook is I had it set on Facebook, and Facebook is either 10 minutes late or you can't show it, and I had to delete it off Facebook. So we're only on Twitter and YouTube for today. But we're going to talk about pop culture. I don't think there's much to talk about, like that much. But there's two main things to talk about that came out last week, and that's season finale of Falcon and Winter Soldier and Mortal Kombat. And so I'm here in entertainment with Anakin. Here we're going to talk about basically those shows, and if we in whatever else we want to talk about comes up in mind. So anybody wants in the chat talk about whatever they want, or Anakin, whatever you want to talk about, bring it up. So we want to go with Falcon Winter Soldier or Mortal Kombat.
I have not yet seen Mortal Kombat. It's on my list of things to watch
Oh,
this weekend. So,
okay.
but we can jump right into Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Okay, so yeah, so we're gonna talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier. As you know, everybody, the season finale was last Friday, 6 episodes, and if you ever heard, there's gonna be a Captain America 4. Hasn't been confirmed, but it's been reported by legit Hollywood sites that Captain America 4 is most likely gonna happen, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen. But let's talk about the season finale, the series, and then we'll talk about what we can see for the movie. We know it's gonna be. Let's get this out of the way. If you haven't seen the show, I'm sorry, we're gonna spoil it. Sam
It's been
Wilson,
almost a week,
yeah,
so
Sam Wilson is Captain America, and I think everybody knew it's gonna happen eventually. At the beginning of the show, he was gonna become Captain America. And if you didn't know that, I don't know what you've been paying attention to, but if you've been watching the show, and if you even episode 1, you knew it's gonna happen. So I'll get your thoughts on the season and the finale. What's your thoughts?
overall, I like this show. I don't think it for me, it did not match the heights of WandaVision. WandaVision, by the end of episode 3, I was all, why do I have to wait until next week for the next episode? Like, from the end, and I guess spoilers for WandaVision, but again,
That's
that's
two
been
months
done.
ago. It's like two
Yeah,
months.
that's been done for a while now. But like from the moment in episode 3 when Monica uh, name drops Ultron,
Yeah.
and then you see Monica get tossed out of the hex. I was like, let's go. Why do I need to wait until next week for the next episode? And I was like, oh, like this is one of those things where like I wish I had all the episodes once because I could just keep going. I never got to that stage with Falcon and the Winter Soldier until the penultimate episode where Sam gets the case from the Wakandans and he opens it up, but we don't see it. That was the first time that I had that feeling. And I think in part of that is due to the nature of the shows because WandaVision was very much a kind of Lost style show where there's a big mystery element to it. You're trying to figure out, you know, you know, who is done responsible for this. Why are they doing all of this? What exactly is going on? And Falcon Winter Soldier is more straightforward, but there have also been shows where it is more of a straightforward thing, and you still are like, oh, I can't believe I have to wait until the next week, and I just don't. For me, it's a good show. It's not top tier. It's not top tier MCU level stuff the way that I think WandaVision was. But overall, I did really enjoy the show, and I am definitely excited for a Captain America 4. Um, I'm just wondering, you know, who they'll use as a villain because the two big Captain America villains are Red Skull and Winter Soldier, and those have gotten
They
used, and they
still got
found
Zemo. Still got Zemo, right? Because we know Zemo's still involved in some way, even in
that's
prison.
that's true. But I mean, he had his moment for Civil War as
Yeah.
the big baddie. So
Yeah, I
you know,
agree.
and they managed to kind of get around the villain problem with Civil War by basing it on the Civil War storyline and kind of having Tony Stark as the villain, as you know,
Hmm.
as you know, as well. I don't know what they would do for this. I will say, whatever villain it is for Captain America 4, I hope it's better than the Flag Smashers because
Yeah, it
I
has to be.
really thought that they dropped the ball on that.
I think I don't know much about Captain America's villains besides Red Skull, Hydra, Baron Zemo, um, who else? Winter Soldier. That's all I really know. But maybe I don't know. Maybe Sharon Carter becomes a villain. We all know the end of the season and the finale. Sharon Carter ain't on the good side anymore. She turned heel. We all know she turned heel, right? It's a wrestling term. She turned heel.
Did she though? I mean, because there's all
Or
this
she's a
speculation.
spy. You're right. Technically, she is a spy.
I wasn't even talking about that, about the fact that she's a spy. Like you know what a big theory is about her. About her. Have you heard this?
No.
The big theory is she's actually a Skrull, and it's setting up for Secret
Uh,
Invasion, with which we know is going to star Fury, and then Ben Mendelsohn reprising his role from Captain Marvel as
Talos.
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 Yeah, yeah, but you know, like we know the Secret Invasion show that is it's not going to be as focused on the Avengers as
Mm.
the comic book storyline is, but that's a big theory because and that would explain why Sharon did such a 180 from how we last saw her in Civil War, and like she was somebody who I was I was expecting to see a lot more of. You know, it takes a few episodes until you finally.
She was only in two movies in the MCU, like the Falcon Winter Soldier. No, Captain America 2 with Winter Soldier and Civil War. That's it.
Right, but the fact that she's Peggy Carter's niece, and Peggy Carter ended up being such an important character in the MCU.
So
But
here's the thing about this.
mhm.
Steve Rogers had a relationship with Sharon Carter and Peggy Carter, and we all know Steve Rogers went back in time to be with Peggy. So Steve Rogers technically like is her uncle now or something. I don't know.
It's weird because the way that time travel in the MCU got explained in Endgame, um, there's a lot of confusion because
Yes,
between how it was explained and then the fact that at the end of Endgame you had the old Steve Rogers show up, and so there's it's not it's not some it's weird because it's time travel,
that's one of the criticisms about the movie.
yeah, time travel is never simple, but at least with something like Back to the Future, like we see the past changes the
Yes.
future. In the end game, we're told before they go back in time that changing the past doesn't change the future. It just you know
Creates a new
it
timeline. Like,
well, but then the ancient one says, "Oh, the only way that it creates a new timeline is if you remove one of the Infinity Stones."
yeah.
And all Steve did was put him back. But then there's the fact that Loki got a hold of the Tesseract and escaped, which is leading into the Loki show. And it looks like that, and the Loki show is continuing that version of Loki. So it's it's it, it's
Yeah.
really kind of fuzzy on how it
Cause
works.
technically, that 2000 that Thanos in Endgame was a 2014 version of Thanos from the Guardians of
Hmm.
the Galaxy first movie. Technically, that means the 2013 Thanos is still there, or 2015 Thanos is still there. 2016 Thanos.
But that's well in there. But then it's like, okay, does that now create a timeline where
Yeah,
2014 Thanos just disappeared and never came back? And so like
it's confusing. It's one of the
yeah,
problems with the movie.
I think that's one of the things where I don't where they did what they wanted to do to tell the best story, which I mean, fantastic movie, best movie in the MCU. But in my opinion at least,
I like Infinity
it
War better, but that's still a good movie. Endgame.
but it but well yeah, and and that's that's fine, but it's one of the things where they said that, but there's still people trying to figure out like how
Like,
how exactly
huh?
does
It's
it,
like,
yeah.
huh?
Yeah. Now the other thing is, and I didn't think about this until Paris Lily on Kind of Funny's reactions to the finale of Falcon Winter Soldier thought, what if it's not leading? What if the thing with Sharon the Power Broker? What if that's not setting up Secret Invasion? What if that's setting up the Armor Wars show? Because Armor Wars is going to be all about people getting their hands basically on Stark tech. Because there's that line that where Sharon says, you know, we don't have access to the super soldier jerks anymore, but we've got access to all of this other stuff. And it's like, well, okay, if you can't get super soldier serum, what's the next best thing? Stark tech.
Hmm.
That's which is in and we saw way back in Iron Man 2 the concerns about that and about suddenly all these different rogue nations or rogue groups having their own version of Stark tech. So and it's like, well, that would be an interesting thing. But then of course that means this is the real Sharon, and she really did like just pivot and change, and I don't know.
So with John Walker now, he's U.S. agent, right? He's not
Yeah.
Captain America's U.S. agent. And with him, with Elaine from Seinfeld. I'm sorry. So people think she's Madam Hydra, like of the MCU, because Madam Hydra technically is Viper. Like if the main Madam Hydra is Viper in the comics, right? Viper, Ophelia with Sarkazian or something like that. You know what I'm talking about.
I'm familiar with it.
She was an X-Men Wolverine when she went to Japan. That character, the poison. The doctor had the poison.
She
Like
was
the
in
snake.
she was in The Wolverine.
Yeah, yeah. Remember
Okay.
she was a doctor that had the it's like the snake.
Uh,
That's technically her.
full dumb disclosure. I've seen that movie once, and I ended up falling asleep during it.
Okay.
I don't
But
have
you
a
know what I'm
very
talking about. But you know what I'm talking about. It's the blonde
very
doctor.
very vaguely. It's been I saw it when it hit Redbox. So this would have been 2012. I
Yeah,
saw this,
2012, 2013, around there.
and I
Yeah.
haven't and I haven't seen it, but uh, um yeah, because this is the Valentina Fontaine
Yeah.
version. Whether or not she actually becomes Madam Hydra, because it's like,
I don't think she's a full blown villain. I think she's on the under like she's like on the good side, but like
because in the comics, because I've done some research on this since in the comics, she was actually like Nick Fury's lover,
mhm.
and then it was revealed that she was an agent of Hydra, and then it was revealed, oh no, she's actually a villain of this Russian group, which there had been the reports when she first popped up in the penultimate episode, I think it was, um, that is like, oh, she actually was supposed to debut first in Black Widow
Yes, that's correct.
in the pre-COVID timeline, because and so that's why like her appearance there was kind of like, what, like, who is this person? So if they do that thing of where she's really an agent for this Russian organization, we know at least some of that of Black Widow is taking place in Russia, because she goes home there. She gets her father out of prison there, somehow. So it could be that Russian organization. That's where we see it in Black Widow, and that's where we get properly introduced to Fontaine.
Yeah, she's like there's some speculation she's starting up the Thunderbolts with U.S. agent and whoever else. I don't know. I mean, that's that's some rumor, the Thunderbolts and Secret Invasion with Amelia Clark being cast in the movie, not in the movie, the TV show. It's a TV show. Like there's speculation to start like Sword. We know Sword exists now, right? So Sword's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be more involved in probably Secret Invasion because they deal with that stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
the rumor is she's gonna be cast as like Abigail Brand, but that's just rumors. But we'll see with Amelia Clark.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of stuff, that they've got coming down the pipe work. We got Loki. Well, actually, I'm trying to think if if Loki
Loki's
debuts first. Okay,
Yeah,
oh yeah, because Black Widow got pushed to
July.
July. Yeah. So, but that's not. But that is. But Loki doesn't debut until I think June.
Yes.
So so we've got a little time. But how sweet was that suit that Sam had?
Amazing. That's one of the best suits I've seen in the MCU, hands
Yeah,
down. I believe it.
I've seen people complain about the ears like popping out or sticking out. I
Oh
didn't
yeah.
notice that. It didn't bother me, but
Near
it looked
high.
really good. It looked just like the comic book version. Um, one thing I didn't also really care for in Falcon and Soldier Hole it is because it did such a great job with Sam and telling that story and dealing with the racism issue
Mm-hmm.
in America. What very very poignant after all the protests last year, and then and after getting the verdict last week of Chauvin. And they did such a great job of that, like this, like the scene where Bucky and Sam have left Isaiah Bradley's house. Which shout out to Carl Lumbly, man.
Yes,
That,
nerd lot. Yeah.
I'm doing a rewatch of of Alias, which he was on as Marcus Dixon, and he's awesome. I'm glad to see him continuing to get work. He's awesome, but they have that scene after they leave his house and they start having a bit of an argument in the street, and the police car pulls up and stops them, and the two officers get out and immediately ask Bucky if everything's all right and if Sam is
Yeah.
bothering him. And it's not until one cop goes, "Oh, wait, that's Falcon. That's an Avenger." That then they
Yeah.
quickly change their tune and start treating Sam with respect. And I thought it's just like that's really poignant to do. But so all the stuff with Sam was great. It did feel like with Bucky, he didn't get as much of a focus.
I agree. I think that this like there was a little stuff to do with Bucky, a little bit with his past and stuff. But Sam, I agree with you. Majority of the time was about him. This show was majority about Sam, even though it was called Falcon and Winter Soldier. It was really about Sam Wilson majority of the time.
Well, and I think it was telling that the end of the credit sequence before that stinger with Sharon Carter and her getting the pardon and then going, "Hey, we're back in business." That for all 5 episodes beforehand, we got the title of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then for that 6th episode, it was Captain America and the Winter Soldier, and I thought it was telling that it was Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Like Winter Soldier is still something that he just kind of identifies with, and
Yeah, see, with the race thing, I agree with you. There's some people on YouTube, like the hate against woke stuff like that. You know what I'm talking about.
yeah.
They're like, oh, they had to put this in the MCU. They had to make it about identity politics. They don't understand the meaning of a black Captain America. Look, Steve Rogers is the first Captain America in World War II. Okay, for that time it worked. But here's the thing: there was a lot of African Americans who participated, who volunteered in World War II to fight for the country, and if you know history, they still got treated like crap. So having a black Captain America in these times means a lot to the people now, because we still see it to some degree. We still see how they're being treated,
Oh yeah.
and yet so some villains, I'm speculating Hydra's coming back, because I feel like Hydra's never gone. Much as you could say they could say in the MCU, Hydra is never gone.
Could be. It's weird because it's also like, is Shield going to come back? Because they kind of
Yeah.
because you had Shield still existing in the Agents of Shield show, but they never but because that was under Marvel Television, they never crossed it over really with the movies going the opposite direction. It was always people from the movies going to
Ultron. I think Ultron movie is really the last time they established Shield in the MCU.
Well, but even then, like, it wasn't Shield because you had
Yeah.
because you had the helicarriers appear to save the people of Sokovia, and you have Quicksilver going, "Is this Shield?" And then Cap goes, "This is what Shield is supposed to be." And then you see an Agents of Shield,
Oh,
and whether or not this
maybe
is
that's
actually
why. Maybe because the show is Agents of Shield, they wanted to get away from the MCU movies, and then when the Agents of Shield, the TV show, to be Shield representing its own as Shield. Maybe that's the reason. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know, but it's like, are we ever going to see like proper Shield movies again? Who knows? No idea.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm great. The MCU. So there's other MCU stuff like in the future after Black Widow. We got. I want to know your thoughts on the. Is it Shang-Chi or is it Shang-Chi? Shang-Chi, right?
I think it's Shang-Chi. I think.
So you obviously saw the trailer, right? What are your thoughts on that? It comes out in September, everybody. So I thought it comes out in August, but it comes out in September.
Yeah. I thought it was cool. I wasn't blown away by it, and I think I'm one of the few that wasn't blown away by it because I've seen reactions to the trailer, like people play the trailer and react to it, and they're all excited and stuff and about it. And I will say, like when they did it slowly and breaking it down, it's like, oh, there is some really cool stuff in here, but I went away a little bit underwhelmed. Like there was nothing about it that really seemed like this was MCU. Really, it seemed more like just like a martial arts movie, which is fine, and that's probably what this show is going to be. This show is probably going to be the movie version of the Iron Fist show, but like to me, like I've never particularly had an interest in like martial arts films, like the Karate Kid movies. I've never just really had an interest in seeing them. I don't know. That's just one aspect that's just kind of like I don't really care about it. But this is an MCU movie, so there's a level of quality that we're expecting from this, and I will say. Aquafina looks just as funny as she's been. She's been great in all the stuff she's been doing lately. She was in the most recent Jumanji movie, and she was awesome. Yeah. And she was awesome in that. Looks like she's gonna be sort of the Michael Pena character,
the comedy friend, the comedic friend,
and I fully believe she'll be able to do that, and
she could do that.
And right now I'm thinking this is probably going to be around the level of Ant-Man 1 for me.
Yeah.
Which, if that's what we get, I'm fine with that because not everything can be top tier stuff. You need to have some of that middle tier stuff. As long as we stay out of the lower tier of Thor: The Dark World.
The middle tier MCU movies do very well.
Yeah.
They do very well. They make good money.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I think this one getting $1 billion might be a little presumptuous. Well, just because of the pandemic, like, who knows if it would be able to get that. Yeah. Regardless. But in terms of pre-pandemic numbers, I don't know if expecting this to hit $1 billion. It'd be a realistic. But then again, nobody expected Black Panther to get to that, and that ended up connecting with people. So
and Captain Marvel, despite what people said about Captain Marvel, that made $1 billion.
Yeah. So maybe with the Asian community, maybe this is going to be a movie that they're
trying to bet on China.
That's a good point. China may play a role in this.
And we got, so I want to talk about this. We know Eternals is coming out, the MCU movie after in November. There's no trailer, but I expect a trailer to come out in a couple months, maybe in July, 4 months out. But not the actress, the director. The director just won an award at the Oscars. Even what's her name? You know her name, the director?
I can look it up.
But you know what I'm talking about. She won an award, right?
Yeah.
She won the Best Director award. She's directing Eternals, and I know not. I don't really know anything about Eternals, but it has a good cast. But they got award-winning director. But the thing is, with MCU movies, award-winning directors, the MCU movies are not the best work of directors that are out there, though. Even if you got the best directors, MCU movies are not the best work for the directors.
I mean, it depends. I mean, like for like Kenneth Branagh, who directed Thor, like yeah, I would definitely would say that. But then you look at like the Russo brothers, and the only movies they've done have been MCU movies. So and well, I shouldn't say now they've done a couple other things, but I think it may still be. I think people would say they're at the MCU would say the MCU movies are still their best, but I mean yeah, because the thing is it's a factory,
Yeah.
than the MCU, one where you're still really allowed to kind of have your own version on it. That would
As
even
long as
then
it fits, as long as it fits the plan, like of the gets to the Avengers movie, like every movie they get to each Avengers movie had to fit the Avengers movie. But the thing is, unlike Warner, because we know Warner Brothers has their problems with their universe, with the DC universe, whether it's the Snyderverse or their version, they're not stable. With MCU, even though it has all fit the version of Kevin Feige's plan, long-term plan for each movie, it makes perfect sense. All the directors are on board because it all makes sense. Because if you think about every single movie, almost every single MCU movie had something in common, almost an Infinity Stone.
I mean, I think about half of them.
But
because, Iron Man 1 and 2 didn't have anything. Like the Iron Man movies didn't have anything to do with Infinity Stone. Guardians 2 didn't. The Spider-Man movies haven't. Like it does depend. By the way, the name of that director, I looked it up.
Thor
Chloe
1
Zhao.
had the first one. Chloe Zhao, yeah. I think Thor 1 had the first indication of a Infinity Stone with Loki's
with the Tesseract, yeah.
Yeah, the Tesseract, yeah. That was the Power Stone, right? If I'm correct.
Space.
Space, okay.
Power is the one that would, then the Tesseract showed up in the stinger of Thor. It got its first real introduction in First Avenger. Yeah, no. Power Stone was the one from Guardians 1. It was
with Ronan, right? Ronan.
Yeah, with Ronan. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm looking for MCU. So we got Eternals, Shang-Chi, Black Widow, and we got Loki. But we also got other MCU shows coming up in the end of 2021. Miss Marvel and Hawkeye. Hawkeye just wrapped up. I think Miss Marvel just wrapped up, and now they're starting filming She-Hulk.
Don't forget about What If.
Oh, What If? That's coming out in the summer also, I believe.
I think so. Yeah, that's just gonna be fun because it's not gonna because it's because it's not gonna be relying on the canon. They can tell they can tell whatever stories they want. It's all done in animation. We've seen the trailer show. There'll be one where Yondu takes T'Challa and he becomes Star-Lord instead of Peter Quill. One where Peggy takes a super soldier serum instead of Cap. Something to do, there's gonna be something set around Iron Man 2 because there's that scene from Iron Man 2 of Iron Man dubbing the armor, sitting on the roof of that building having a donut, like there, and also there's the one with the Marvel zombies.
Oh yeah.
Which people are very excited about that because Marvel Zombies was a surprise hit for Marvel. They weren't expecting it to be as popular as it was.
Look, how many properties have Marvel come out this year? We got WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier. That's 2 so far. Then we're gonna get Loki. That's 3. And then Black Widow. That's 4. Right? What If is 5. Shang-Chi is 6. Miss Marvel will be 7. Eternals will be 8. Hawkeye will be 9. I guess you could count Spider-Man in there because that kind of plays into Doctor Strange. So that'll be like 10 in 2021. And then early 2021, I think, is She-Hulk and Doctor Strange. 2022, not 2021. Sorry, people. It's a lot. Second half especially. Second half of this year, it's a lot. It's crazy, man.
Yeah. Good time to be the fan of the MCU.
I mean, it's always a good time to be a fan of MCU.
Sure.
Because they got their shit in order. I like
Yeah.
Warner, man.
Yeah, it hurts me as a DC fan to see
Me
Marvel
too.
doing
I
so
mean,
well
like,
and DC just stumbles. They just, what are you gonna do?
I mean, oh yeah. So DC's have DC FanDome in October, right? They announced DC
Yeah,
FanDome in October, and that's a month before Comic Con in San Diego because they moved Comic Con from, I think Comic Con's usually in July, right?
yeah. Well, they're still right. Yeah, but right now they're planning on doing Comic Con
a virtual one right now.
Thanksgiving weekend.
Thanksgiving, and I think they might move that because that's not a smart idea.
They have to.
What did they even look at the schedule? I mean, like, seriously.
I think it's one of the things where there's been speculation that because because of the contract with the convention center, they had to put something on physically in 2021. They got a buy from 2020 because of the pandemic, but there's a speculation because of the contract they had to have something for this year, and people and they're like, well, what weekend's available? Well, Thanksgiving weekend is like the only thing
Yeah.
available, but the problem is you're gonna have so many people, both people who work who'd be going there for work and people who would be going there for for fun, going, I wasn't able to do Thanksgiving with my family this year. I'm not gonna miss it this year for Comic-Con. Like there was a rumor a few weeks ago that Comic-Con from Thanksgiving had officially, like, they're like, oh, we're not gonna do it, but that was just a rumor. There hasn't been any talk of whether or not that's what they're actually gonna do.
And I think DC FanDome kind of hurt Comic Con too because DC FanDome they scheduled in October. Do you think DC is gonna go to Comic Con and release anything like Warner, right? Do you think Warner's for the DC stuff are gonna say anything if they have DC FanDome? No,
probably not.
If they release a Batman trailer, they're not gonna do it at Comic Con. They're gonna do it at DC FanDome.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because that went over so well last year. I mean,
yeah,
that Batman
one, right?
trailer was awesome.
And they're gonna have another one. They might release one before DC FanDome.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. My guess is gonna be because they finally have started filming the Flash movie.
Yeah, they just.
So we may get an in production trailer for that, like we got for the Batman last year. Get another Batman. Get another Batman trailer. We're probably gonna see Gotham Knights and the Suicide Squad game stuff there. We're gonna get stuff for.
Oh yeah, the games because they've been delayed, right? Because this year they're supposed to come out and they've been delayed.
Yep. We're gonna get things about the new seasons of Flash and Superman and Lois.
I don't know why Batwoman season 3. That show's so bad.
I watched a little bit of the first season of Batwoman and was just like, eh. I heard it got better towards the end, but it's just not really.
They had to recast Batwoman, because
which is like, well, that's a shame, but whatever. But and they're probably gonna have stuff from that, and then probably also stuff for the HBO Max originals that they've got, like the like stuff for the new season of Harley Quinn, and like there's still a lot that they can
Peacemaker.
do. That they can put on. Yeah, that should be. I'm gonna be very.
I'm just waiting.
Very curious about that.
I'm waiting for a day like The Rock has permission to release a picture on his Instagram and Twitter of him in a Black Adam costume.
Do you think Peacemaker will at some point bust out an AA?
Yeah, they should allow that. I mean,
I'm surprised because like Rock, I don't think has ever given like a rock bottom to anybody.
Yes, he has.
And did he?
The Rundown.
Oh, the Rundown. Okay.
With Sean William Scott.
But that was like his first movie after the Scorpion King. Like his first. That was the first movie that he did after he finally finished his full-time run. Yeah.
Because the Scorpion King was more of a support character. In that movie, he was more of a starting role.
Well, no, because he was a supporting character in Mummy Returns. Then he did the Scorpion King. Then he did the Scorpion King, which came out like right after WrestleMania 18, which is why Rock got drafted to SmackDown, did his little thing,
and he came back,
and then vanished. and
He came back
then
as a heel. That was a great
and
walk heel.
no, came back, won the title off of Taker in that match
Oh.
at Vengeance with Taker and Kurt Angle.
Oh,
Then
yeah.
did his thing, then
With
did his
Brock?
thing with Brock, dropped the title to Brock,
He
and
got
then
booed
he went
so much in
away.
that building. He got booed so much in that building because everybody knew he was leaving.
Yeah, well, yeah,
And
yeah,
then he came
basically.
back in 2003, right? That's when he got the new Hollywood
That's
Hollywood
when he
like
came.
rock.
Yeah, because
And
then
that
they
theme music
did
was awesome.
that.
And he,
That was good, and that was also so when he did stuff with the Hurricane and a little bit
yeah, that was
of a
great
feud
too.
with Hurricane. Like I enjoyed that, but
Yeah.
this is for pop culture, not for wrestling.
I mean, Rock technically is in the pop culture now.
No, Dwayne Johnson is in
Oh,
pop
right.
culture.
But have you watched this TV show?
I haven't. I'm trying to watch so much stuff. Like I still haven't watched the last 2 weeks worth of NXT. I haven't watched last week's Dynamite.
Mhm.
I'm 2 episodes behind on Invincible. There's just a lot of stuff to watch because I'm finally current
Yeah.
on Flash and Supergirl and Grey's Anatomy and trying to keep up with those.
How do you keep up with Supergirl though? Like Supergirl is like
It's not as good as it was.
that's a
but
problem with CW. That's a CW thing. They're always good at start and the end. They tail off.
See, I don't mean it. I mean it depends because Arrow got really good again in that 5th season with Chase, and then
Yes,
you
I
had
agree
the
there.
and then you had the 6th season. I don't even remember who the bad guy was in that, but the last season of Arrow I thought was really cool because it did that thing where it
Because there's only like 10 episodes.
yeah, and and frankly, like I really liked. So the stuff about the second to last season that I did like, I eventually liked all the stuff they were doing in the future with Mia and the Canaries and
They canceled that idea.
William.
Remember you were gonna have a show about the Canaries?
I knew not, and I was looking forward to that because I thought this would be really cool. I'd buy this, because I really liked because I ended up really liking Mia as a character, and I was like, I would totally watch it. And then the pandemic hit, and it just for whatever reason they just decided, nope, we're just not gonna. I think if the pandemic hadn't hit, I think we would have that. We'd have that show. But yeah, like Supergirl, like it hasn't felt the same really since it hasn't felt the same since Lena found out about Kara. Like
yeah.
Then like I enjoy that now Lena, she's back on the side of good. She's she's the one Luther who's actually good and stuff, but like right now like Kara's stuck in the Phantom Zone.
Yeah.
She's trying to get out. She's with her dad who like then the first time I saw him I went, "Oh, they got Jason Bear. He knows how to play an alien." Because he was in Roswell, the original Roswell, way back with Sherry Appleby, and Katherine Heigl, and I loved that show. That was only 3 seasons. I thought that was a great show. I really enjoyed it. And that was also the first time that I saw, because she appeared at the end of season 1 and was there for season 2. Character of Tessa, played by. I'm blanking on her name, but the actress who was Claire in Lost, and then went on to play Belle in Once Upon a Time. I cannot remember her name.
Oh,
this is gonna bug me.
Okay. The thing about CW superhero shows, they're becoming too much like teenage dramas.
Yeah.
They're kind of like soap operas to a sense.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Evangeline Lilly, that's her name.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, from Ant-Man.
No. Oh yes, no, sorry. You're right. Not Evangeline Lilly. I thought I would recognize. Emily DeRaven. That's her name.
Oh yeah, I know Emily DeRaven. Yes.
Emily DeRaven. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because she was Belle in Once Upon a Time. Yeah. She was Claire in Lost, and then she was Tess in Roswell, which is where Jason Bear was. And it was just like So seeing him was like, oh, well, he knows how to play an alien. That's really cool. And but it's just like her. She's like she's stuck in the fandom zone, and it's kind of like, okay, like come on, let's get you out of the fandom zone. Let's just I don't know, just kind of whatever. But I will say this, and I talked a little bit about this before we started, but the big thing I've been really into is The Circle. Now, have you heard of this show on
I heard it
Netflix?
on Netflix. I haven't watched
Okay,
it yet.
so for those who don't know, the basic premise is you have a group of people, and they all live in this apartment building. They but they don't see each other, don't or hear each other. The only interaction they have is with this social media app called the Circle. So they can present themselves as being themselves, or they can catfish and pose to be somebody else, and everything is done in there. It has a little bit of elements of Survivor, where the social game is such a big thing. Um, this was not something that I thought I would be into, but I heard so much talk of it last year on the Kind of Funny screencast. People like, no, this is actually really, really good. And I was like, all right, I'll finally check it out. And by the end of the first episode of season one, I was in. I was hooked. Again, I chose to watch this instead of Dynamite, and I've really been enjoying Dynamite since Dynamite moved, or since Dynamite has had Wednesday nights on its own. And it was a thing where last week I was about this close to finishing watching the new episodes of Circle before watching the season finale of Falcon Winter Soldier. That's how much I've been enjoying this show, and I didn't think I would put anything above something in the MCU, but this show is fire. It is really, really good. My advice to people: watch the first episode of the first season. If it's only like 48 minutes long. If you're not in after that, you can go ahead and bounce. But you may very well get into it, and you're just like, I need to see more. The season finale is on Wednesday, and I cannot wait for it. This season, there was a Netflix show which I didn't even know was a thing until they mentioned it here. There's a Netflix show called Too Hot to Handle. One of the people from that is on this, and they had Lance Bass's personal assistant posing as Lance Bass, so which was amazing. That was really good. So I definitely recommend people at least check out the first episode. If you're not into it, bounce. Like some people wouldn't like it. Like I said something on the Monday Night Raw post show for Fightful about how I was watching it, and I said, Sean, this isn't for you. But I said, but Denise, you might like this. You might be into this.
Sean doesn't like the stuff we like. He doesn't like the stuff we like. Like when it comes
He's
to that kind
weird.
of pop culture stuff.
He's weird, but it's okay. You're allowed to be weird, Sean. We're all weird in our own.
But Denise doesn't like the kind of humor movies that we'll watch. Like the kind of like Joel Dirt kind of movies she wouldn't like.
I have no interest in I have no interest in that. I'm not a big comedy fan in general, whether it's movies or TV shows. There's few TV shows I've ever actually enjoyed. Like I liked The Office, I liked Big Bang Theory, I liked Raymond.
Yeah, me too.
There's
old school sitcoms are the best from like the 2000s and the 90s. The ones suck now.
There's a few, but it's not like a whole lot of stuff. And movies, it's even less. Like my favorite comedy movies, like I could name Dumb and Dumber, Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and as far as favorite comedy, like that's it. Like Adam Sandler has never been my thing.
I like Adam Sandler movies in the 90s and early 2000s, but I feel like most of his comedy movies are the same now, the same thing, and they're kind of too cartoony. But the thing with Adam Sandler, when he does a role that's not common, he's so good at it.
Oh yeah, like I heard, he was in Uncut Gems, and people were legitimately shocked he did not get nominated for Academy Award. What's that?
Punch Drunk Love with him and Don Cheadle.
Mm-mm.
He's in that movie. It's not a comedy movie. He's like elder person that lost his family, and I think he lost his job and he was like, basically depressed and stuff. That's what he played. He's good in those roles. There's some common movies where he could be where he's sometimes serious parts. Like Mr. Deeds, I thought was a good movie for him.
I haven't seen that. I have heard good things about that. I saw.
It's not just playing comedy. Not just playing comedy. It's actually some serious stuff.
That's what Click was, and I enjoyed that because that was more than that. You know who I did not realize was in oh shoot, when was it? What's the movie where he has to graduate through all the grades?
Oh, Billy Madison.
Yeah, you know who I realized is in Billy Madison, and this can seg into I know what you want to talk about. You know who the teacher is in there? Do you know what she's? Do you know what other role she's famous for?
No, I just know she's Sonya Blade.
Oh, well, yeah, that's it. She was Sonya Blade in the original Mortal Kombat movie. I did not realize that until I saw a YouTube video of where are all the actors now, and I went, that is Sonya Blade.
She had a solid career. Like I don't know what happened to her. Like
she got married and had a family and decided to retire from acting, and
she had a promising career.
She wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. She did provide the face and voice for I think it was Mortal Kombat 11. They did a whole things of skins for characters based on the 95 movie, and they got like all those people to come back. So like
better than 96, better than 97 movie.
Whoa. I see. There are very few movies I am like steadfastly against ever rewatching. Mortal Kombat and Annihilation was one of them. I almost did when Kind of Funny did their Mortal Kombat in review, and I thought, no, I don't need to do that. I am still mad at them that I watched Catwoman because they did it for Batman.
It's fan videos. Better.
I did not think any movie that I had seen could be worse than X-Men Origins Wolverine, and then I saw Catwoman, and I went. Yes. And here's the thing. The first 15, 20 minutes of that movie, I thought, this is not that bad. This is kind of cool. Then she gets her powers, and then it just drops off a cliff, and it just goes, what is this movie? What am I? And it's not even like a movie that's like bad, but it's enjoyable. Like the first Mortal Kombat movie is a bad movie, but it's enjoyable. You're able to have fun with it.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of those bad movies, but it's bad in a good way,
Bad good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Mortal Kombat Annihilation and Catwoman are just straight up bad. It's just so. All right. So you've seen the new Mortal Kombat. So I have not seen it yet.
I'm not gonna spoil it. Then I'm not gonna.
I appreciate that. I am seeing it. Done this weekend. My kid is going away for the weekend, so I'll be seeing it. But I do want to know what you thought of the new Mortal Kombat.
Okay. I'll tell you this. I like the original Mortal Kombat better from '95.
Really?
This movie, yeah. But because I felt like it's a better story, and I like the actors better in that movie because they had a solid cast. I mean, it's the cast in here. You recognize some actors like Sonata, who plays Scorpion. You know who Sonata is. Sonata plays Scorpion. He's in X-Men with the one who goes to Japan. He's the father of the love interest of Wolverine.
Again, it's been almost a decade since I've seen it. I have not watched it again since. I do want to rewatch it.
Have you seen Ronin Ronin with Keanu Reeves?
47 Ronin? No, I haven't.
Okay, he's in that. So I think, but you've seen Endgame, right?
Sure.
You've seen Endgame, yeah. You know when Hawkeye went Ronin and is in Japan?
Yeah.
You got the Yakuza, right?
Yakuza? Okay.
The Yakuza. He's that one. He took out the leader of the Yakuza. That's him.
Oh, okay.
He had a short cameo in the Endgame.
Okay.
That's him. So I like the '95 version better, but I did like this movie. It's not great. It's not terrible. I just think it's okay. Like to me, if I put it out of 10, 6 or 7, the action scenes were fine. The fighting scenes were fine. Storytelling was okay. The dialogue was a problem. The problem with this movie, it felt rushed. The pacing was rushed. But I'll tell you one thing: the actor, in my opinion, that stole the show was Kano's actor. He was hilarious. You'll love Kano because he's actually very funny in this movie. But overall, the fatalities were great or good. But I think they kind of they did say the lines from the Mortal Kombat games like flawless victory, stuff like that.
Do they make sense this time? Because there was times where they said it in the first one, like
Yes,
like
kind of the way they do. In the way they do.
like
Because
Shang Tsung at one point says flawless victory. It's like, no, he got hit. That's not a flawless victory.
no. When I'm not gonna tell you who says it. When the guy says it, it's actually a flawless victory
Okay.
or fatality.
So are you a fan of the games?
Some bit. Not all of them. I'm a fan of a story. The story of the games, because like
Okay.
I like Scorpion's story.
So
And that does play into the movie though.
So does this have a lot of the signature moves from the game? Because
Yes.
I know
Yes, it
that
does.
was something the first Mortal Kombat movie had that Annihilation didn't have, is a lot of signature moves. So this one,
Yes, this
okay.
movie they did. They did.
Okay.
They explain how they got their powers though. It's not like they just magically have their powers. And
okay.
They explain how some characters got their power. Like you're not just born with it, unless you're from Outworld. Outworld's different, right? Because Outworld has creatures and
Sure.
stuff. But the humans have to gain this. They explain how the humans got their powers.
Sure.
But-
Now, is Raiden in this movie?
Yes.
Does he go like he did in the
No.
original?
No, he doesn't have the. He doesn't have the Lambert charm. He doesn't have Christopher Lambert's charm to him.
Okay. All right.
I think I don't know if you can. I don't think you're gonna hate it, but I don't know if you're gonna like really like think it's a solid movie. Like it's a solid movie. It's an okay movie. It's like,
So what do you think of the Miz trying to become Johnny Cage?
well, he is Johnny Cage basically in this WWE.
Well, sure, exactly, and that's what he's going for. And I have to say, I haven't seen this one yet, but Miz would be a very good fit for it because that's kind of what I mean. That's kind of what he was when he was with the Maurice, and when he came back as the A-lister. Like that's very much what his character was for that run. So and I've heard people are like, yeah, he'd be really good for it. And
Ed Boon vouched for it.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, see, well, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out on this weekend. I'll probably watch it instead of SmackDown. I'll probably do that.
But it's Daniel Bryan's last match at SmackDown because we all know he's losing. He ain't winning that match.
I have a hot take on Daniel Bryan. I don't really care where he goes anymore. Because you can't do the underdog story with him. You did it at WrestleMania.
They tried it at
30.
WrestleMania. They tried it at WrestleMania
and
this
it
year.
didn't work because it wasn't natural. And it's like, no. He had that moment, and he's not the Planet's champion anymore. So I'm just like all the speculation of is he going to leave and you go. It's like honestly, it's like I don't really have an invested thing. I just don't, and that's sad. But and it's just like maybe part of it is just because I didn't care for his bit in the WrestleMania angle. But
me too.
Miz is Johnny Cage. I would be down. For that. I think that would be really cool. Did they have Sonya Blade in this movie?
Yes, Sonya Blade's in it.
Okay. How? Okay.
She's a good actress. The actress played her very well.
Okay. I was about to say because if she hadn't been cast yet, I don't know who you would. I don't know who you would get for that. Not Ronda Rousey.
No.
People did not like her. The portrayal of Sonya when she did it for Mortal Kombat 11.
Rousey should never be in a movie again because she can't act. I mean, we see that on WWE TV. She cannot. She's not good at it.
Yeah. Well, and when she was in Furious 7 in that small role when they
That's what she's good for.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it's like Gina Carano is better than you, which now Gina Carano
and Gina Carano's not that good of an actress either. I mean, she's okay.
She was so I didn't mind her in Furious 6. I thought she was fine. I liked her character. I didn't mind her in The Mandalorian. People had problems with, at least in season 1.
Support character.
I still haven't seen.
I agree.
I still haven't seen season 2 yet, but season 1, I was like, she's not that great, but this seems to fit her. This, it's not asking her to do anything out of the realm of what
right role. If you put her in the right role, she'll do fine. Because I see her as more of a support character. I don't see her as a leading role.
Lady. No, I definitely. Well, she is now for whatever that.
If that ever gets made.
Oh, it's gonna get made, and it's gonna do terrible, and it's not gonna. You know it's gonna happen, and she shot herself in the foot with that one. It's all
they warned her multiple times. Stop this.
Yeah.
Stop. And if you don't, if it happens, if you don't
well, I mean, yeah, but we both know of a certain entertainment company that has problematic people like that. They just refuse.
One of NXT who refs.
That was it. Well, him.
Did you
talent?
Did you hear about the news today with David Brixton, man?
No.
As the Brookside?
No.
She posted on Instagram anti-vax stuff.
Who did?
From a certain Brookside. Isaiah Brookside, Bobby Brookside's daughter. From NXT UK.
Oh, I was gonna say I don't. Okay. And so NXT, I don't watch NXT UK. I know very little.
She's a talent on the show. She's one of the trainer's daughters. And WWE and David Brixton caught her because David does a very good job of catching people like this. And I don't know how a guy like Jake Works is still employed. They're afraid of firing him. I don't care. Get rid of.
I don't know. So before we, because I'm gonna have to leave in a few minutes. What do you think about a Last of Us Part 3?
Well, man, I think they probably will do it, but Last of Us Part 2 didn't do so well, huh? Like,
what are you talking about? What are you talking about? It was the fastest selling.
Oh, really?
Fastest selling. Yeah, it was like the.
Oh, I know financially, but it had a lot of criticism on that.
Well, it had criticism from people online. Critically, it did very well.
It's gonna make it 3. They're gonna make it 3.
And I think the people who had problems with it were just. I think they were just hating on it for whatever reason, but because they said, oh, we've thought about a story for it. I don't know, like when I finished. So last year I finally did something I've been wanting to do for a long time. I played through all of the Uncharted games for the first time, and I played Last of Us for the first time. And there's a thing where when I finished Uncharted Lost Legacy, I was like, oh, I don't have any more Uncharted to play. And then I went to Last of Us, played that, played Left Behind, and I was like, oh, I don't have any more Last of Us to play. I beat Last of Us Part 2, went back and then platinumed it, and I was like, I'm good. I don't need any more. And it's just like, it's weird because like I could go for another Uncharted. I don't feel that way about Last of Us. I think part of it is because Last of Us it's a little more story focused than Uncharted, because Uncharted is about the adventure and Last of Us is about this actual story. But like at the end of part 1, I felt like there's definitely still a story that can be told. But I feel like for part 2, like at least with the characters that have already been introduced, I don't feel like there's anything more you can really do, because like I feel like for Ellie's story, like I feel like it wrapped up well. Like she ended up, like she had happiness, and and whether it was because she wasn't able to let go of her hatred or because of PTSD, for whatever reason, she was not able to move past it, and she sacrificed her happiness, and and she ended up and she ended up getting her hand damaged, and and not able, and now she's not able to play the guitar anymore, that was such a big part of the game. Was there was certain moments where she played the guitar, and now she couldn't do it anymore because she lost a finger. And it's just like, and this feels like an appropriate end for her. If they were gonna do a part 3, I feel like it would have to be focusing on completely different characters. I don't feel like you could really tell any more story with Ellie that would.
Maybe that's why they're doing a TV show because like they could do more stuff in TV.
Now that I'm excited for. That should be cool, especially with that cast. I mean, Bella Ramsey is such a great choice for Ellie, and it's funny because when they were talking of doing the movie years ago, people were looking at oh, what is her name?
From where?
Hold on, I'll tell you in a second. Um, but why is this not? Okay, I can't even get a full cast here. But the Arya Stark actress,
Oh, Maisie Williams.
Maisie Williams, yes,
Maisie Williams.
yes. People were looking. I was like, it's like all I could think of was Sophie
Maisie.
Turner. It's like, no, that's Sansa. Who is Arya? But people were looking at Maisie Williams as playing Ellie, and so now by the time they finally get around to actually doing it, she's now too old to play Ellie. But they get somebody else from Game of Thrones. But and it's also interesting because it came out yesterday of like basically why the Last of Us movie fell apart, and it was because it was so action focused. Because that's what you had to do for a movie, and that just wasn't. And that's not true to the spirit of the game. Like there's obviously like action elements in it and throughout the whole game, both games. But it's not. But it's a thing where like they felt like they were just creating these set pieces instead of doing the story. Yes. Yeah. I heard she was in Dark Materials. I haven't watched that yet, but
that's the problem with video games movies. You want video games to become made a movie, they have to have a lot of storytelling in a movie or a TV show. You can't just be like.
I'm gonna be.
But Mortal Kombat is different. Mortal Kombat is a little different. You don't expect great storytelling from a Mortal Kombat movie because you want to see the action scenes. But with something like Last of Us, it has to have storytelling in the movie.
Yeah, It's good. I'm very curious. I'm waiting for them to drop the trailer for Uncharted. I'm waiting for that because I'm going to be very curious.
If Tom Holland acts like Nathan Drake from the games, I'm happy because Nathan Drake has that like the way his characters. He has that charm. He has that sarcasm, a little bit of sarcasm. He has a smile. If he's like that, because he's a young Nathan Drake. But if he's like that. Good.
It's just funny because when they first started trying to do that movie, Mark Wahlberg was cast as Nathan Drake, and now he's playing Sully, which is like it's like okay, but I mean we'll see.
Everybody wanted Nathan Fillion. Everybody wanted Nathan Fillion because of that one fan made video, which is awesome on YouTube.
I still haven't seen it yet. I need to see it.
It's awesome, but the guy's over 50 though. The guy's over 50.
Yeah, he can't.
Yeah,
he can't do it anymore. Come on now, but yeah, like I'm hoping we get a good trailer, and then we hear the and I'm like, yes, I'm in, I'm good, let's go. But whether or not they pull it off, there's a lot more excitement for the Last of Us HBO series than there is for the Uncharted movie, and that's because you've had Neil Druckmann and the Naughty Dog team working with the HBO people making Last of Us. Don't think they had much of a thing to do with with Uncharted. So whether or not that ends up being good.
I mean, Uncharted could be like the new Indiana Jones in terms of the movies.
Well, and
that's what they're trying to do.
That's what the archetype is. It's this whole thing of you got the Indiana Jones and the Tomb Raider and the Uncharted stuff, and like they're all well, not Indiana Jones, because Indiana Jones is really what inspired Tomb Raider and Uncharted.
Yeah.
But it's like they're all trying to get in that thing, and we're getting an Uncharted or not Uncharted, an Indiana Jones 5. Whether or not
Harrison Ford.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna do it. Don't ask me. But however they do it, but they're all trying to kind of basically chase that. So I'll tell you this, I have more faith in Uncharted than I do in an Indiana Jones 5.
Me too.
I will say this, I didn't have a problem, or I didn't hate Crystal Skull. I just didn't think it was It's like when you have movies as good as Raiders, as good as Last Crusade,
The thing is,
it's really hard to match that level.
A lot of people had problems with Crystal Skull, how ridiculous some of the stuff is. But I'm sorry, but those past Indiana Jones in the 80s, there's a lot of ridiculous stuff going on.
Well, sure.
That's what it is.
Yeah, but I think I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So we're gonna end it here. Before I end it here, we got some new video game news coming out tomorrow. Pokemon Snap for the Switch comes out, and Returnal, whatever it's Returnal, I think, for the PS5.
Returnal from Housemarque, yeah.
Yeah.
They've gotten good reviews. I haven't read Returnal's reviews yet, but I was seeing reactions from people.
Yeah, Pokemon Snap got a good review.
I was hearing people's thoughts of Returnals on Twitter today, and people are saying it's Housemarque's best game, and this is from people who love Housemarque, but weren't sure if Returnal was really gonna kind of hit it for them, and then being like, no, it's my favorite Housemarque game. That's good. Pokemon Snap got good reviews. I listened to the Kind of Funny Gamescast review of it last night at work, and it's like, sounds cool. Definitely not something I'd pay $60 for.
But it's Nintendo, they always overcharge.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. But it's like, hey, you know what? I will wait until there's a sale of it somewhere, and I'll get it. That's what I did for Super Mario 3D All Stars. That.
Oh, did he freeze? I think he froze. Yeah, you froze. Yeah, you froze, man. So yeah, I guess I'll end it here. If he comes back on, we'll end it here. And guys, next week, Resident Evil Village comes out on the 7th of May. Yeah, he froze. And so this is Aaron J's fan. If he comes back on, yeah, he had to go anyway. But so on Saturday I'm doing Why We Love Sports, and yeah, tonight NFL Draft is on. So yeah, it says Aaron J's fan on my Twitter. So like, subscribe down below, and I'll see you Saturday, guys. Take care.